Hello and welcome to Andy's Shed Live. This is Series 13, Episode 11 for Sunday the 15th of October 2023. Hello there everybody, how the devil are you? Hope you're having a good day today. Just setting up my wonky cameras that are a bit wonky today, these cameras. Not quite where they ought to be at all, really, these. Hang on. Hello, welcome to the show. It's Sunday evening once again. As usual, I am just so not ready to do any of this today. Really not ready. But we're here anyway, nonetheless. And we are doing it. There's various people with us in the old chat once again. We've got Wesley, we've got Miguel, we've got Gambo, we've got Fat Hobbit. Everybody seems to be there. So yeah, brilliant. Christopher 2000's not with us tonight. I've had a message from him. He said he's not going to be watching live tonight, but he'll catch up later. So hello Christopher, if you're watching. Gambo says he just got finished early, so he's nipping into Tesco's for dinner. Says, but he'll use their free Wi-Fi while shopping. Crikey, multitasking there, Gambo. Yeah, blimey. Very impressed with that. Very impressed. Yeah. Oh, Keith is with us as well. Hi, Keith. Nice to see you all again. Right, we will crack on, shall we? Because we've got a lot to get through tonight. It's been a very busy week. I've been boat moving again. Friday and yesterday, Saturday. I've been moving Alan's boat again. This time we went from Stanleyland's Marina at Thorn near Doncaster to Rotherham, which is of course on the other side of Doncaster. It was a trip of about 25-30 miles ish. Did it over 2 days, did most of it on day one, did kind of 20 miles on day one, about 6-7 miles on day two. Yes, very, very interesting. Oh, and I've actually got a picture to show you as well, because when we arrived where the boat was going, I was offered another boat that is for sale. And I am considering it. Now, do you want to see it? Hang on. Let me see if I can get a picture of it up on here. Not quite sure how to do this, really. Yeah, I'm really not sure how to do it. How do you do it? Like this. Desktop. Right. Just bear with me a sec, and I'll see if I can find your picture. Just talk amongst yourselves a second. And I'll see what I can achieve. Just a sec. Minimize that a minute. And then I have to have a look in my photos, which will hopefully open eventually. Yeah, there it is. Photos. Right, I think I've done it. I think now, if I do... Does it? Right, does it come on? No, it doesn't. Right, why is that then? Right, I don't know why that isn't doing it. Oh, that's better. Right. Yeah, hang on. What's happened there then? No, still not doing it. Alright. I'm doing something wrong. I know I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what. Doesn't help that my mouse here is playing up a bit today. Right. Well, I can see the picture. Why can't you? There we go. Okie dokie. So why can you not see that? That's a good question, isn't it? Yeah, why can you not see that? Well, I could see it. This is going terribly well, isn't it, this evening? Right. Well, I've got no idea why you can't see that. Right, let's see if I can just add. Desktop. I've got no idea why this is not working. I've got no idea at all. Right, hang on. Right, we'll try and do it another way. Just a sec. Right, that kind of looks better. Right, let's see if I can get that to come up now. Right, that'll do. Right, I think we've done it. I think we've done it. It was worth waiting for, wasn't it? But yeah, I thought I'd show you this sign first of all, because this amused me. If you read this sign, attention dog owners, not donors, dog owners. Pick up after your dogs. Thank you. Attention dogs. Grr, bark, woof. And that's an official Canal and River Trust signed that. I thought that was quite amusing. And that boat that you can see there in the background, that is Perfect Day. That is Alan and Sandra's boat that I've been piloting for the last 2 days. So yeah, that's it. And right, here's the next one. And here is the boat we found in the trees. Now, now this is a Dawnkraft. We were told this was something it wasn't. We were told this was a Dawnkraft 27, which for anybody that knows anything about boats would make it a Dawnkraft Sunseeker. It's not. It's a Dawnkraft 25 that's had an extra bit added on the back of the cabin by a previous owner. It's sat in a yard since 2008 and is in remarkably good condition. I know it looks a bit scruffy there. The reason it looks a bit scruffy there is because it was pretty much buried underneath a big buddleia bush that we just chopped down when this photo was taken. But you couldn't see the boat like this sort of half an hour earlier. But yes, so there's nothing inside it, basic. Well, there's a load of junk inside it, but there's no interior to it, and there's no engine fitted to it at the moment, but it is eminently restorable. It's mainly made out of fiberglass. There are some wooden bits on it, wooden bits of trim and that on it, which seem to be in surprisingly good condition, considering it's sat in that yard for best part of 20 years. And it seems rather good, so we are considering whether this would be a doable project or not at the moment. It's kind of borderline, I have to admit, it's kind of borderline for me as to whether I would have the time to do it apart from anything else, but it would probably be quite nice if I did. So that's what we've been up to just recently. So jury's out on as to whether I'm going to purchase that or not yet. Watch this space for further details on that one, and we'll let you know how we get on with it all. Right, what is everybody saying in the chat? Dominic's with us. He says, I did my days of volunteering at the Christ Tramway Museum, clearing the leaves at Waitebridge. Oh, I've done that in my time, Dominic. I have done that in my time. Yeah, and it's the time of year for that. I bet you got a lot of them. Did you chuck them all down the bank, through that little gate down the bank, down onto the Waitebridge Road? That's what we used to do. There was a little gate in a fence, and you just chucked them down a very steep embankment, which was wooded anyway, so just added a few more leaves to it. And it says, did you know a guy called Chris, Andy? Think he's a long-time volunteer there. Chris. It's not immediately springing to mind, but I did know a lot of people. What does he do? What does he look like? Why is everybody saying click thumbnail? Dominic says the Blackpool tram's not very good at dealing with leaf mulch and worms apparently, as the weight is on the wrong wheels and the sanders miss the rails on curves. It's more complicated than that, Dominic. Basically, it's people at Christ that aren't very good at driving trams, and it's not their fault, it's the people that teach them. Yes. The problem is that they use the wrong kind of sand at Crouch, basically. The sand that they put in the sanders at Crouch, to stop the sanders getting bunged up, they put in a very gritty kind of sand. It's not like sand on the beach. You'd never make a sandcastle out of it. It's like little round bobbles of sand. Little round grains of sand, and it's weird stuff. So there's no powdery sand in it, and it comes down the little tube, hits the rail and bounces off the railhead because it's like little marbles, whereas if it was powder like beach sand, it would just come down and just sit on the railhead. Well, these little marbles bounce off, but they use it because the trams, when they're used infrequently, are prone to the sand getting damp, and when the sand gets damp, if they use finer sand, like when you make a sandcastle, it all sticks together and it sits in the hopper and doesn't go down the pipe. So yeah, and of course Blackpool trams don't generally need to worry about sanders because there's plenty of sand on the rail there anyway. But Blackpool trams are often skid and often slide and are very prone to wheel slip, and always have been, particularly the twin sets in Blackpool, the twin cars. But the drivers are taught to deal with it, and one of the best ways of dealing with it with a twin car is to drive it from the trailer, so the towing car is pushing, and that helps a lot with the traction. Although the drivers don't like driving from the trailer because they don't know so easily when the car is slipping, because they can't hear it because it's the tram behind the one they're in, kind of thing. So yeah, it's tricky, but they make excuses. They make excuses. The worst ones, the London ones, were what they call max traction trucks. They're the worst ones for slipping about and also derailing. because London, for some reason, put the max traction bogies under all their trams the wrong way round. But because London did it, everybody thinks that's the correct way round, and everywhere else they call it reverse max traction, like Gateshead 5 that's at Cryche. They say that's got reversed max traction bogies. Go and have a look at it. It's the opposite way around to the London ones. But in actual fact, Gateshead 5s is the way around they're designed, because it have a little pony wheel to go under the platforms. This won't mean anything to anybody that hasn't seen a max traction bogie under a tram. But if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The little pony wheel should go under the platforms, so the pony wheel should be leading, and on the back bogie the pony wheel should be trailing. The pony wheels should not be the centre ones, they should be the outer ones. But because London did it the other way round and made the ponies the centre ones, everybody now says, oh, London must have been right. So when the ponies are on the outside, they're called reverse max traction. And that's wrong. When they're on the outside, they're max traction as designed. When they're on the inside, they're reverse max traction. It's as clear as mud, isn't it? Bill says, I really would like to visit the trams in Blackpool one day. There's not many of them left there now, Bills, since they had their so-called upgrade to modern vehicles. Notice I say upgrade in inverted commas, because whether or not it was an upgrade is open to debate. Right, what's happening here? It's all gone a bit weird. Fat Hobbit says, oh Andy, another big project. I think he's meaning the picture of the boat. Bill says, you've taken on a big task, Andy. I've not taken it on yet, Bills. I've not committed yet. Yeah, not taking it on yet. I hope you aren't paying too much for it, Andy. That's to be negotiated yet, Keith, so I can't say whether I am or not yet, because I don't know. But that's to be negotiated. Dominic says, Chris has a beard and deals with the track, but a bit of everything, I think. Right. I don't know. When I was there, the guy in charge of the track gang was a fella called Mike Davis from Sheffield. And I don't know if Mike will still be around or active or not now, because it's a long time since I was there. It's about 30 years since I was there now. Crikey. Dominic says they were having problems with the brakes on Blackpool 40, apparently. Yeah, well, you know why that is, Dominic? It's because they'd messed with them. Again. Bout 40 and its sister, Blackpool 49, are two of the most reliable trams you'll ever come across. But the problem with Cryche has always been that they insist on taking up every little bit of play out of the brakes. You know, the brakes don't self-adjust basically on a tram. You have to adjust them. At least on those trams. And it's a handbrake, which is basically a chain on the bottom, so that you've got a handle on the platform of the tram, a windy handle like that. And that goes down through the platform of the tram, and there is a chain that wraps around the bottom of that pole. As you turn it, a chain wraps around the bottom of it, and that chain pulls the brakes on to the wheels. It's as simple as that. Now, what they do is they make it so you don't have to turn the chain very far until the brakes are on, i.e. the chain is just long enough. And they do it by taking a link out the end of the chain, basically, or putting a bolt through, not the end link, but like the next to the end link, or the next to that link. Anyway, the upshot of this is that sometimes they overdo it. For instance, if they do it when the weather is warm and then the weather goes cold, things shrink slightly and the brakes bind. They used to have a term for it. It used to be known as baconized brakes, after a workshop superintendent guy they had there called Tony Bacon, who used to be the midweek paid member of staff in the workshop, get fellow in charge midweeks, and he was obsessed with taking brakes up to within an inch of their life. And if you couldn't get your tram out of the depot in the morning because the brakes were stuck on, it was referred to as being baconized. Yeah. Yeah, the trouble is, they're too perfectionist. They take all the slop out of everything, and things work better when there's a bit of play and a bit of slop in them. Every real world engineer knows that things work better with a bit of play and a bit of slop in them. But it may not be to the book. You see, Christ trams don't rattle. You go to Blackpool and Blackpool trams rattle and squeak and that because they've got more play in them, and that's because they use more, they wear more, and in general are more reliable. It has to be said. Because a Blackpool tram does the same amount of mileage in probably a week that a Christ tram does in a year. So yeah. Bill says, I'm going hopefully to the Orme Railways in Wales for my holiday. Oh, the Great Orme Tramway. It's a brilliant tramway, that. It's one of my favourite ones, the Great Orme. I very much enjoy the Great Orme. It's fantastic. Just when you go, don't think about the tram that ran away and killed loads of people. Don't worry, they've not got that one now. What happened, it's many years ago, and the trams on the Great Orme used to pull trailers. If you look at the numbers on the trams on the Great Orme, there's 2 on the bottom section, 2 on the top section, so you'd think they'd be numbered 1 to 4, wouldn't you? But they're not. I think there's like 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 or something like that. I don't know what their numbers, but it's something like that, and you think, well, why are there some numbers missing? And that's because the missing numbers are the trailers that they used to pull. They used to pull these trailers, and basically many years ago, we're going back to Victorian times, one of the trailers broke away and ran back down the hill, and I think it turned over and killed some people. Now, the easy way to solve this would have been to push the trailers up, would have been to have the trailers on the front, but they obviously didn't think of that, which is what the Snaefell Mountain Railway does. In fact, the Snaefell Mountain Railway, the carriage is not attached to the locomotive. So, yeah. Dominic says the Manx Electric Railway's like that. Lots of rattles, but it works. Yeah, exactly. It does, and it's worked well for well over 100 years. The oldest operating public service. Yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out and say the oldest operating public service vehicle, passenger carrying vehicle in the world, No, I'm not, because there might be a train that's older. Right, oldest operating tram in the world that is still with its original company is on the Manx Electric. It's Manx Electric number 1 and 2. Keith says the Isle of Man is on my bucket list. Yeah, it's been on mine for years, Keith. I've never been either. Dominic says the MER is a weird mix of UK trams and American interurban railways. It kind of is. The thing is, in the early days of electric trams particularly, a lot of the vehicles and equipment were built by Brill, which is an American company. There were certainly a lot of Brill bits in Blackpool, and I think there's a lot of Brill bits in the Isle of Man as well. Because the Isle of Man, what they call the box cars, the winter saloons, are very similar to Blackpool and Fleetwood Box 40 that ran in Blackpool. Very, very similar. Bill says, what about the tram in Brighton? Right, I don't know much about that one, Brills. The one in Brighton, as far as I'm aware, are we talking about the one that is pulled through the streets behind a big AEC Matador truck? When they have like a carnival or something like that, you often see it in the parade, pulled behind an AEC Matador truck. If we're talking about that one, then I believe that is not actually... I'm just thinking about this now. Right. Oh, he's talking about the Manx Electric Railway, not talking about the original, the original Brighton trams, because that's another story entirely. It's actually pulled behind a Matador truck in... Is it from Brighton or is it from Bournemouth? But it's pulled around Llandudno, Colwyn Bay by a Matador truck. But it is, I think, a Brighton tram or possibly a Bournemouth tram. I can't remember. But it's one of those two. But it's masquerading in the Colwyn Bay area as a Llandudno and Colwyn Bay tram, but it's not in reality. The Manx, the Volks Electric Railway. I don't know how old that is, and I don't know how old the vehicles are on that. But that's a railway, not a tramway. Volks Electric. On the seafront there at Brighton. So yeah, that's why I quickly decided not to say public service vehicles, because there might be a train that was older, and one of those is probably it, because they are technically trains, not trams. Now somebody's now going to say, what's the difference between a train and a tram? And it's tricky that to define, because when you define it, there are exceptions to the rule. But in general, a tram is capable of running on the street, and it has all its moving parts around its wheels enclosed or made safe by the use of guards. So it's very hard to get run over by a tram, because there are things called lifeguards underneath it that drop down and scoop you up and stuff like that. Unless you're in Hong Kong. But a train has exposed wheels. A tram generally doesn't. But then you do get things. Bill says, but trains run on streets too. Yes, but they don't run on a tramway. They run on a street running railway. It's a very difficult. It's a very difficult distinction to make, and there have been problems in the past of working out what is a train and what is a tram. And now there are tram trains, of course, in Sheffield, and I think they're getting them in Wales as well. It's really, really difficult. But yeah, I mean, Bill says trains run in the street in parts of India. True, they used to in this country as well. The Weymouth Quay. The trains used to run on Weymouth Quay. Full-size British Rail trains in the 1970s. Ran specials down Weymouth Quay. Bill says it's to do with seating capacity or weight. No, it's not, Bill. No, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule to what is a tram and what is a train. What does make it different is when you get into who is the regulator, if they have a crash, and what rules do they have to follow. There are different rules for a tram to a train. In general, a tram doesn't have to obey signals. A tram is driven on line of sight, i.e. you never go faster than what you can see in front of you. So you drive a tram in such a manner that you can stop on the clear track you can see in front of you. So if you go around a corner, suddenly find something across the track, you should be able to stop before you get to it. So a tram is driven on line of sight. A train is not. A train is driven much faster, and you can't stop a train in what you can see. You have to rely on the signals. So that is one of the ways you generally define it. But again, there are exceptions to it. Yeah. Dominic says, true, almost all tramways are line of sight. Yeah, all original ones generally are. Modern ones, not so much necessarily. But you do drive even a modern tram, but where there's signals, like on Sheffield Super Tram, there's signals, but you do still drive them to what you can see. But you, like driving a car, you obey a stop signal. But trams, you can have more than one in a block as well, basically, whereas trains you can't. Trams don't have block signalling, basically, whereas trains do. Dominic says it's a grey areas. Before the Light Railway Act, lighter railways will be passed as a tramway legally, such as the Wisbech and Upwell. Yes, and I think you'll find when they were passed as a tramway, going back to what I was saying about the wheels being enclosed, they had to have enclosed wheels. The steam tram that's now on the North Yorkshire Moors Railway that Piglet owns, it's got guards around its wheels, because that is, although that is now operating on a railway, that is in theory a tram. Bill says, is the DLR a train or tram in London? That is, Right. That is an LRV, a light rail vehicle. But technically, for all intents and purposes, it's a train. If anything goes wrong, and the railway inspector has to come out and look at why it's crashed or stuff like that, he will be looking for the DLR to follow the rules of a railway, not a tramway. Camo says, "Hi there, Pete Stoney. Did you get the photos I sent of the Batmobile phone?" I should have somewhere, Campbell. I'm sure I have. I'll have a look in a sec. In fact, I'll even do it now, because I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of what is a tram and what is a train. People have tried for years, and of course, when Blackpool go and build a tram to look like a train, then that gets even more complicated, because people go, "Oh look, it's a Western train." No, it's not. It's a tram. It just looks like a train. Right. Alright, the Batmobile phone. I'm just starting my email, Gambo. The thing is, it takes ages and ages and ages for it to fire up, because I get thousands of emails. Where might it be? Batmobile. There it is. Yes, it's the what's it Batmobile, isn't it? That it's the first of the modern Batman movies, Batmobile. It got awful shape ergonomically as a telephone, though. That right, hang on, because nobody can see it yet, so I've got to do something so people can see it. Right, there it is, I think. The Batmobile, Gambo's Batmobile, believe it or not, that's a telephone. How on earth do you hold that? Really, how do you hold that? But yeah, it really is a telephone, because if we scroll down, you'll see his telephone in a minute. There's another view of it. Who's that chap on in the background there on the telly? Crikey. Yeah, it's the George Clooney Batmobile, I think that, isn't it? Is that the one that in the George Clooney Batman movie? And I'm guessing that is what you laughingly call really, to hold that's not going to be the most ergonomically friendly thing in the world, is it, that? Touch-tone TM apparently is a trademark of BT in the UK. I didn't know that. And it can do pulse or tone dialing, apparently. I didn't know that either. Look at that. Oh. And you can turn the ringer off. That's a bit naughty. Yeah. How times have changed. That wouldn't have been allowed a few years ago. But yeah, there is Gambo's Batmobile phone for you. Right. Okay. Okie dokie. Right. So yeah, Gambo's Batmobile. Right, talking of things and stuff, you want to see how cluttered this desk is today. Right, do you want to see how cluttered the desk is? Are you ready for a shock? That's how cluttered the desk is today. I'll move a few things, shall I? Before we went on the boat on Friday, Alan rang me up and said, "Can you get a whistling kettle that whistles so I can hear when it boils for the boat?" So, and I can't get one that works. So I bought one off eBay or Amazon or something. It says it don't work, it's rubbish. So I thought I'd try and get one. Went into every shop I could think of. Nobody had got a whistling kettle. So I then had the idea of going into a place in Chesterfield called Olympia House, which is actually a kind of antique centre. I wanted to also say stroke junk shop, although they probably wouldn't thank me for calling it a junk shop, but it's the kind of antique centre where you can literally buy anything. It doesn't really have to be strictly an antique. It's not. Some of the stuff is valuable, some of the stuff is really not valuable. I mean, it'll sell anything from a grandfather clock for a couple of £1,000 down to a CD for £1. It's really, and that's the beauty of Olympia House, it's that random, the stuff that's in it. And it's all little dealers all renting bits of space in the building and that. And it's fantastic to go and have a look around. If you're the sort of person that likes rummaging for a bargain, Olympia House is really, really good. I recommend it. It's near the railway station in Chesterfield. Tell them Andy the telephone guy sent you if you go and visit them. But I went in there. I thought, well, I'll see if I can find a old kettle, because everybody used to have whistling kettles, didn't they? I thought, I'll see if I can find an old one. Went to Olympia House. Didn't come out with a whistling kettle. However, I did come out with a mantle clock and a telephone. That's what happens when you go in Olympia House. That's why I don't allow myself to go in very often, because I come out with not what I went in for, and generally come out with more as well. So yeah, so that happened. So in a few minutes I'm going to show you the telephone that came out of Olympia House. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, but other things that I've been doing. The clock didn't go. It said mental clock for a pair, £5. So I thought, oh, that's a bargain, because it's a Smith's clock, which is a well-known British maker. And here's the mechanism out of it, which I'm trying to get going, but it won't. That's where the pendulum fits on, and that should tick away at the minute, but it keeps stopping. So there's something, either something not quite as it should be somewhere in that, or perhaps it just needs cleaning more, because I've not totally taken it apart to clean it yet. Yeah, I think it does need a really good clean actually. So yeah, where can I put that? Put it on there a minute. So yeah, I went into Olympia House, as I say, and I got this out of Olympia House. This cost a £5 as well, this phone, right? And you can see that, and that looks kind of as you'd expect, doesn't it? But then you go, it's only got numbers on. Oh, it must be a 706 clone, because it's only got numbers on the dial. But notice something else as well. Yeah, it's got one of those, because it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that. But somebody must have had this apart and messed with it, because now the numbers are upside down on here, because they're not aware it should be that way up. So somebody must have had it apart and fiddled with it. So there is a number on the base of it, which, if I can get this in shot, there is a number here that's on like the world's smallest dino tape. They must have made a very small dino tape at one stage. And 1065E6. So assuming that is correct, that makes this an Ericsson phone. St. Christopher's not here, he'd be liking this. Somebody has messed with it, because this isn't attached where it should be, it's just inside the phone. And also the dial is well and truly stuck and not in the right place. So we are going to try and sort this out. So what do I need to sort this out? To have a little look at it, try and figure out what's happening with it. We need a miracle, more space, that's what we need. I need my little suckery thing, because when I use sellotape, people get upset. How you got one of the proper sucker things? Well, no, I still haven't got one of the proper sucker things, because this came off out of the Christmas decorations, and doesn't want to come out that way. But then it probably won't, because it's not a 746, remember, it's a 706 clone. So this is probably the earlier type of label in the middle of here. Now what I need to do is I really need to get the case off, because where do you stick your little screwdriver under when it's not in the rest position? Because that needs to turn to rest, doesn't it? So what we need to try and do is get the case off and have a look what's going on. So I'm going to try and take the two screws out of here, which hopefully will be retained as they should be. And we're going to see if we can get the case off with the finger wheel still in place. Yes, I can. So there we are, and inside here you say there's a lot of dirt and a broken piece of metal, it would seem. Loads of dirt, God knows where this has been. Look at that on the inside. And then we look at how filthy this is in here, and we find, oh, what's that? Wedged down the side, not where it should be, of course, but wedged down the side here is the thing that should be on the back there. holding the cords in place. And what's that? Does anybody know what? Oh, that is a cord grommet thing of some sort, but that was wedged inside it. Here's another bit of metal, and I think what that metal is, I don't actually know, because I was going to say I think it's a clamp that holds this induction coil on, but I don't think it is, because they only have one clamp, I think. Oh, I know what it is. It's a broken capacitor clamp. Yeah, it should go together like that. I believe. Then I think that bit goes down there like that, and it should hold, it should kind of fit in there like that and hold this capacitor in place, but it doesn't, because it's broke. So we'll have to see if we can find one of them. But the big problem with this is the dial, because the dial is well and truly stuck head. So let's see if we can get the dial off. Like that. And if we hold it like that, then we should be able to get it apart by putting a screwdriver under there. Somewhere, I think. Somewhere there. So, let's find a relevant small screwdriver. We can hopefully pop the dial pull out with. Right, this is not the ideal screwdriver for this one that I've got here, because, and you can see on that camera, but that screwdriver does not open out at the ends. If I hold it there, you can see. You want one that kind of has a bit of a diamond shape at the end, really, because what you want to do is you want one that you can wedge underneath the dial, then turn it and flick, because the diamond shaped ones that open out, when you turn it like that, so to the shoulders of the diamond, and what flick the thing out. But I'm going to try and do it with this one. So I reckon it's going to be under here. Somewhere. Oh. But I think this is... Oh, is it coming? Or is it one of those later? That's right. This has already been broken on the edge here, so that's why I'm leaving it where it's already been chavelled off the edge, because this may be one that hasn't got the thing. Oh, it has got the thing. so that's where you put your screwdriver on. You should be able to, and you should be able to just pop a screwdriver in there and twist like that. See, pop it in there like that, and it should lift up that bit of metal there, and that's what pops the thing off, in theory. Right, what have we got here? Well, that's interesting because we've got a Plessy dial label. Can you see that? That's a Plessy dial label. And what I believe from the end number is a Ericsson phone. So what is going on there? And the dial has got an N number on it here as well, an N part number, so that's a part number for an Ericsson dial. So maybe it's had the wrong dial label put in. We don't know. But anyway, let's continue. We'll take out that screw out the middle of the dial if we can. I might actually sit it back in the phone for this, because sometimes it's better to do this with them sat in the phone. Ah, that's it, got it. It just holds it steadier. That's not been out for a good few years. Then we can take that off there and look at the state of that. Is it going to come out in one piece, this little spring clip? Just about. Then we can hopefully get that off there, and you can see it's all rusted up inside. Lovely. So yeah, I don't think there will be much hope for the little clutch mechanism in this. I think we'll end up replacing that, but just for now, let's just douse it in a good quality mineral oil, which is basically 3-in-1 oil what I'm using here. And we'll really over oil it. I know I'm over oiling it, I'm doing it on purpose because everything's stuck, and over oiling it is a good way of getting things unstuck generally. So if I spin the governor, will it turn the whole thing back to the rest position? Let's see. So we've got to go that way, and this should be going back. No, it should be coming back this way to rest, shouldn't it? So I need to go that way. And it is moving, this. It is moving. Look at the 2 screws in the middle of there. And you can see it is very slightly moving. So yeah. So it will come back. Oh. Yeah. Oh, right now. I might have gone a bit too far. Yeah. So. Yeah, we're getting it moving. Sort of. Alright, Thor the dog is here. Must just woke up, he just come bouncing in here and now he's having a good old drink. Hello, Thor. Alright? Yeah? You good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy, aren't you? Now. Can wind it back to its proper rest position, we might actually be getting somewhere. And there we go. That's it. It's at its proper rest position now. Now it's still obviously not really doing what it should, and I think the spring of this dial might be suspect. May have got a broken spring in it. But at least it's moving now. So what we can do now is we can just put the finger wheel back on. Put the screw back in, and then we can just try working it a bit and see if it brings it looser. And literally not even looked at this phone before coming on air. Normally when I do these, I kind of at least look at them beforehand, so I've got an idea, but this I've just not had a chance to look at it at all. Hello Thor, can you hear this squeaking? It's here, right at the side of me. Just over there somewhere. Aren't you, Thor? but it's not offering to return at all. So I'm suspecting a broken spring in the dial. In fact, it's wanting to go the other way. But of course this dial has been put in upside down for what it is, really. So now, of course, what they should have done with this dial is slacken this clamping screw off. There's no screw in the little thing in the bottom there that often holds on. But you should have slackened this off this clamp. Enough that they can then turn it. So in theory, oh, there's the little clamping screw thing. It wasn't through the hole. So that's a clue that they know it should actually be that way around. Because that, of course, is the way. Things have to be. To refit them. Of course, now the dial is upside down, but that's what you want, remember, because this is actually configured as a Wolfo. So this will now sit back in there like that. That'll sit in there like that. I'm not going to push my luck and try and put this back together with that on. I will remove it for a minute then the thing at the back here that should go on the back of her should be in there like that. That fits in two little holes there. There's the other grommet here, which I'll put in for now, just as trying to keep it safe. That one kind of goes in there like that. Then if we take the case, of course the case has got the numbers the wrong way around, so we have to turn that around, and to do that we have to release everything. And this is interesting in itself, because this case seems to be, I mean this dial bezel rather, seems to be clear. I could take this out of the camera shot a minute and sort of do this away from the camera a sec, because it's going to be tricky to do, I think. Just basically getting the metal clips off. There go a couple of them. There. Alright. This is unusual, because these bezels that normally have white numbers on are normally back painted. This one I'm not sure if it has been or not. It's weird, because you'd think if it's not been back painted the numbers will be white on the back, but they're not, except for the number 1, which is, but all the others are a darker colour, as if somehow all the paint's come off except that that's stuck on the numbers. So how weird is that? Now this is something I wish Britfoam would make. I wish it would make these clear, but just with the white numbers printed on the back in reverse like that. So you could paint over them and make these bezels in whatever colour you wanted. I wish they would make that, and they don't, because it would be super useful. So I'm now going to give this a bit of a clean up here. This is a light bit of oil that's escaped and got onto this somewhere along the line at some point. So I'll just got a bit of a wipe. That looks better. And we'll give this a bit of a wipe as well, I think. If we can. We'll wipe the back carefully so you don't wipe the blooming numbers off. That's the thing. So this is the front I'm wiping. That should be okay, because the numbers should be on the back on original equipment, which they are. But this is what I want to be careful wiping, because this is where you might rub the numbers off if you're not careful. But it seems fine today. Right, so I need to now, so that was fitted that way before. I now need to fit it that way. Yeah, that way. Can you see that? That way. So I need to line that, it's handy it's being clear, I need to line that up with that hole in the case, that cutout in the case there, the big one. The little one is for the finger stop, but I need to, no, this one is for the finger stop. Yes, need to line that up there like that. So that's fine. So that's now lined up. Now I've got to fit the metal ring back on it again, and the metal ring that you have to kind of get in place is not easy. Now the metal ring has got on it a little bit there that's kind of raised up. Can you see that? That little raised bit against my thumbnail, my dirty thumbnail? That raised bit, so that's the side that goes to the phone. So that raised bit should engage in that slot there at the top of your case. And that should, in theory, stop the whole dial from spinning round. That's the theory. I'll stop the dial bezel rather from spinning round, not the dial itself. So again, this is something that you can't really do on the desk. You have to kind of put it on your knee and mess with it. I think we're almost there. Yep, we're there. So that is now on. You see that? And of course the numbers are now upside down. So when I put this back together, and we'll open it up some other time to clean it up and that, work on it. Now, of course, finger stop is up here, so that cutout is up there somewhere, and I've just realised I've not fully caught this, or have I? Yeah, I think I have actually. So now we put that on there, somehow like that, upside down of course. Then we would need this. Now this is filthy, so I'm going to go and just wash this, because it's, and actually there must have been something that takes the paint off these things, because look at this on the back. This, a lot of the paint is missing off this as well. So has somebody got a paint stripper in this? And again, it's only stayed where the chevron-y things are. Oh, the chevrons are coming off as well. Oh dear, my chevrons are falling off. So we might have to replace this with a better one. So I'm not going to wash it, because all the chevrons will fall off. So I'll just wipe the surface. Remember, the chevrons are on the back. Well, I call them chevrons. They're not chevrons really, are they? They're arrows. I don't know why I call them chevrons. So yeah, you see some of them are missing. Look, you can see my fingers through it. It's also got a crack in it, but I think I've got some of these in grey. So we put it on upside down, remember. And it doesn't want to go on. Oh, that's it. It's not on fully though, that. Right, take the case off again. Oh, it's all fell apart. I knew it would. Right. Let's put that on there. Like that. Let's put that on there now. Like that. Now let's put the case back together. Again. You can see why they changed this on the 746. This internal thing, because it's very, very fiddly to put together. Very fiddly. You can see why they went, you know something? We've had enough of this. Done it again. Right, now let's see if we can get it back on the phone. So hook the two little ledgy things under there, two little hooky things under there, into the two little bits on the front of here. So that goes on first like that. And then this is where you find the dial. Is really not in the right place at all. And this is where we swear about British phones and we say American phones are better because you don't have this stupid design. And I say it every time, but it doesn't mean it stops being true. And then you find that nothing is quite square or lines up. find the case won't fit properly because this is a bit small, it seems, and makes you wonder if this dial bezel thing is some kind of repro, because it seems a little bit small to me. It's definitely seem to be a bit on the small side. Definitely seems a bit on the small side. Right. That does not want to fit on there properly. Yeah, I think there is something not right about this. That has not fitted on there as squarely as I think it should. And there's something wrong with the fitting of the case because the hook switch is jammed down. Why would that be? Nope. Really struggle with these. Every one that I take off. I don't know how the BT GPO engineers used to do this. To me, the dial is off centre somehow. If I was to do that dial screw thing up more, would that centre it up? That one. So it would pull it that way a bit. Doesn't need to go far. No. do believe we've almost got it. Right. For those of you that are wondering if we're going to do the Odyssey stream thing as well tonight, that was the original plan. But that's probably now not going to happen, being as we are now running a bit late. Or it might just happen for 5 minutes, something like that. So if you're wanting to see us try Odyssey, I'm conscious I've not looked at the chat for a while. That's because I've been busy. But I will look at it in just a minute. Right. I'm pretty sure the spring has gone in that dial. But at least now we have put it together the way around it should be. So there you have it. Another one of those, bought for the grand total of £5 from Olympia House in Chesterfield. How cool is that? And I'm wondering if this is a London Underground one, because they did have these apparently on the London Underground. So I'm wondering if this is from there. But that's something we'll find out another day, I think. So, what did I do with that Plessy label? And it is a genuine 706 thick dial centre. Unfortunately it's damaged. It has got some bits out of it there where people have tried to pry it out from the front, which is what you should never do, although I did have to do it with this. So there's the Plessy thing, 761888 or something it's got on the thing. So I've put that in upside down. And then we'll put that in as well, that label, like that. So now we've done it. There it is, the right way up, as it should be. How cool is that? Yeah, quite liking that. Quite liking that. Right, that is that. Before we switch to Odyssey, which we will do in a minute, if anybody wants to try it tonight, feel free to stick with us in a few minutes. We will do the Odyssey switch over. I'm just moving a few things out to thaw the dogs away. Right, I'll shut that toolbox up, Thor, so you can come and sit in here with me. Yeah. Alright. Good lad. Good lad, aren't you? You're a good boy, you are. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go outside? Eh? Do you want to go outside a minute? I think Thor wants to go outside a minute. Just excuse me 1 moment. Do you want to go outside? Don't be long there, because it's cold out there. Don't be long. Boy. Right. As I was saying, I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat before we do the Odyssey switch for anybody who wants to try it. Bill says that broken thing was for the seating capacitor, and it is the seating for the capacity. You're quite right. Gambo says, when I have a dial like that, I oil it, then put the finger plate back on so I can turn the dial back and forth. Yeah, I think I probably did that just after you typed that, didn't I, Gambo? Yeah, because that's exactly what I did in the end. Brother says, not a bad find for a £5. No, that's what I thought. That's why I picked it up. As I was walking around Olympia House looking for my whistling kettle that I couldn't find, I just happened to see it and I thought, I can't pass that up for a £5. Wesley says, how's your digital voice performing, Dominic? Probably best we don't ask about that. Although I think Dominic's found a way around it to make his old phones work, actually. He seems to be, Dominic says, it seems to be working well. Once I used it with a dialer tone converter. He says, I got my Red Phoenix phone hooked up to it. And it'll dial out and accept calls. Excellent. Speak says, I wonder if the case of that phone you got there is made by one manufacturer and the base another, hence the ill fitting. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit weird that it's got a Plessidial label in it when it's an Ericsson phone, as far as at least I think it's an Ericsson phone. So that's a bit odd. I'm not sure what's happened there. Wesley says, I can't seem to get Odyssey working here. Have a good week ahead, everyone. Go to odyssey.com, Wesley. ODYSEE.com, and it should be pretty much like YouTube. Then just do a search for Andy Shed Live on there and you should find where we are going to be live. But we're not live on there yet, but we will be in just a few minutes time, about 5 minutes time after the end of this stream. We will just pop up on there just for a couple of minutes, just to say hi, and for those of you who do want to test it today. We are switching to Odyssey, beginning of November. We will be on Odyssey because YouTube is basically becoming just such a pain with the number of ads they're forcing us to run. It's ridiculous. So yeah, we will probably find a way that you can still watch the stream on YouTube, but you won't be able to participate in the chat on YouTube. The chat will be moving to Odyssey as well. Right, so for the main show, that is about it for today. Wesley says, I can't browse on my TV, unfortunately. Oh, are you watching it on a smart TV? Oh, you might have to watch it on a phone or something, Wesley, or a tablet, or any device that's not a telly. You can even buy a really cheap Raspberry Pi, a thing called a Raspberry Pi Zero, and plug that into your telly and watch us on a Raspberry Pi. It would work on a Raspberry Pi Zero, I'm told. But we've still got a couple of weeks to work it out anyway, Wesley, so we'll figure something out. So for the main show today, that is going to be about a wrap, because I do want to do a quick switch to Odyssey for people to have a look on there before we finish today. So from me for now, have a fantastic week ahead if you're not making the switch to odyssey.com with us. If you are making the switch and you can't find us on there, go onto the website, on the Andy Shed website, which is here. It's andyshed.coldpress.net, and click on the live thing. And when we go live on Odyssey, we should also come up live on the live page on the website. So go on andyshed.coldpress.net and then click the button that says live on the menu there, and we should appear on there. You might have to refresh it though for us to start. Right, I think that is about it. Dominic says, I'm signing up to Odyssey. Excellent, Dominic. We will see you on the other side, hopefully, in just a few minutes from now. But for me, for now, have a fantastic week ahead, everybody. We will see you here around about same time, same place for one more week. Next week, here on Andy Shed Live. But for me, for now, it's bye for now.